All right, the last video of the day before I crash. Please, if you missed any of today's videos, make sure you check out either the Disney Losing Faith in Captain Marvel or the Equality Monitor that Newegg has for sale. And this story is a little bit more serious, but I hope that you'll share it because here we go again. Essentially a public claim, no actual official process gone through, a outright denial, as well as eyewitness accounts that refute this woman's statement, yet the industry will still side with her. There are many problems with this article. I'm going to point them out because I believe that it is bent on painting the worst picture of the man in question here. I also want to say that I'm very sick, so hopefully I can get through this. But also, certainly, there are men who have done things like this, and there are women who have done things like this. It is my position, and will always be my position, that if the first thing you do is to publicly post about it on Twitter, you become immediately suspect, at minimum. Because my guess is you are more bent on hurting somebody, hurting their reputation, than you really are about receiving any justice or receiving any compensation. You're really just angry and lashing out. That's what I believe. We saw this reach peak between ZQ and Alec. And here we have another situation where we have absolutely zero evidence. We have a denial. We have a supporting denial. And people don't care. UC Santa Cruz... Games professor, by the way, she's an assistant professor. I think it's important. You don't call, a resident a doctor or whatever the case is. She's an assistant professor. Says the Kingdom of Loathing designer has done some bad things. AM Dark shares her story of physical and emotional bad things at the hands of her ex-husband. Interesting that she chose to do it in a public Google Doc, but I digress. In a public Google Doc, Dark presented in detail account of her dating relationship and later marriage to Johnson, beginning over a decade ago. Content warning: link contains detailed descriptions of fiction, I'll call it. Absolutely none of this has been substantiated. And here's a very interesting thing that it's almost like you wonder if Rebecca Valentine meant to put this in here or not. Dark added on Twitter that she remains uncredited for multiple development contributions to Kingdom of Loathing, saying that Johnson went so far as to remove a zone in the game so he didn't have to give credit to me. Is that what you're mad about? Obviously, I don't know. Obviously, I can't know that. But it seems plausible that you may have a motive to put these things out there. You don't know. And in a statement provided to GameIndustry.biz, Johnson denied everything. The statements against me are false. All of these are statements of misconduct against Kevin Simmons, and most of the documents depictions of our one-sided, one-dimensional villainy. Aaliyah AM did not work for Kingdom of Loathing except to provide feedback, and her name has been placed in the section of the game's credits as per her request. I have made my apologies, and I wish her the best in the future. One such apology is visible reply on Twitter to Dark's thread sharing these things. Here he is. Everything you say about Randy is true as far as I know, and I'm ashamed of how I handled it. I'm ashamed of the emotional immaturity and anger and cruelty I brought to the table in our marriage. I wonder why this is just getting covered now. It was out September 3rd. No one cares. I've been having anxiety attacks all week. I haven't slept. I sound angry, but honestly, I'm just in tears. Yeah, another Twitter outing. It's ridiculous. On social media, other community members and involved parties have responded to Dark's statements west of loathing designer Kevin Simmons, whom Dark claimed was in the room during an instance of physical action, but did nothing to stop it, publicly apologized. Quote, I am also sorry for my role in your relationship with Zach. Imagine that, being forced to apologize for not getting involved in someone else's business. I had a sheltered life and didn't know what emotional, psychological, or financial bad behavior looked like. I should have understood that the power dynamic was incredibly unequal. I should have intervened. Yeah, get involved in another man's marriage. Good idea. However, here is somebody who supposedly was an eyewitness to everything. Here's his statement. My memories of the events differ significantly from Aaliyah's account, but fundamentally, I feel that doesn't matter. What? Yes, it does. I believe the underlying truth, the recognition of the culture of privilege and patriarchy that men participate in and benefit from. What? You've got to be kidding me. You literally say, nah, dog, this never happened, but patriarchy. You've got to be kidding me. With friends like these, who would ever need enemies? Since reading Aaliyah's statement, I have been grappling with my complicity in that toxic culture. I regret that my ignorance and inaction contributed to their suffering. Yeah, all these dudes are apologizing for not getting involved in another man's marriage. Let me put it this way. Where I'm from, you don't talk about another man's money. You don't get involved in their wife and family relations. You don't get involved in how they raise their kids. I'm assuming most of you watching these videos also live by that same unspoken rule. But of course, California and New York are just different places. They don't live by the same code as the rest of us normal people do. While I have learned many lessons over the past decade, I am very aware that I still have work to do. And I'm learning about the concept of transformative justice, and have begun working with trained mediators to understand how to build more equitable and safer communities. What? Friend's marriage falls apart. I'm most affected. Frog Fractions 2 creator Jim Crawford expressed his support of Drake and publicly stated he will no longer be a part of the video game Hot Dog podcast. He was regularly recording it with both Johnson and Simmons. Bonnie Madison mentioned Dark's account as Johnson's ex-girlfriend, also came forward on Twitter to corroborate both Dark's identity as well as her own alleged similar experiences with him in 2005. I don't believe any of you. I don't. And I don't have to. You can't just say stuff and put it on Twitter. You have to have evidence. You have to have something to back it up. I don't care if it happened. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. And yes, that is going to leave some bad actors walking free, and that stinks. But that is the absolute best alternative to, I'm just going to say something and everyone has to believe me because woman. I believe very strongly that people can change, she said. I don't know who Zach Johnson is now in 2019. What I can say is Drake's picture of his character is absolutely consistent with my experience as his girlfriend in 2005. Yeah. Somebody trashing their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Who could have imagined? Who could have ever seen this happening? Who could have ever seen an opportunity for a jilted ex to corroborate bad things happening to their ex-boyfriend or girlfriend? This whole thing is ridiculous. And there's a large Google Doc kind of cataloging it. But again, at no point have I seen any actual formal actions taken ever. And from the look of this game, it's obviously another indie game, would look like. So it seems like we have another indie video game. Why would you even date anybody in this space? Here's the most telling part of it. Zach told me he was taking out an entire zone in Kingdom of Loathing so he didn't have to credit me. I'm steaming mad. That's September 8th. She updated this on September 3rd, so 5 days later. Zach never defended me. Zach never called him out. Why? It's not his responsibility. Imagine taking all this time to write all this out, but at no point do you ever go to anybody who can actually help you. At no point do you actually do anything to make the situation better for yourself. And I know my detractors will say that I'm blaming the victim here. Okay? If this stuff is true, then if there's justice to be had, I think she should have it. But at no point do you have anything but hearsay. This man will be driven from the industry, as we've seen, and who knows what will happen this time around. Because people are more concerned with outrage mobs and pitchforks than truth and factual, provable statements. If you get a second, please make sure you share this video by leaving a like on it and leaving a comment. Look, maybe it happened, but this is a call for people to wait for actual evidence and not anonymous people on Twitter confirming, oh yeah, he totally did that. He did that, and he bragged about it. Yeah. You just said that on Twitter. How about you get an affidavit for that? These people are just sick, in my opinion. To me, seems like a spurned lover. To you, I don't know. I look forward to reading your comments in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Above, you'll find some links to watch more videos, as well as a nice big button to subscribe, which I hope you'll do. If you did enjoy it, make sure before you go that you leave a like and a comment on the video, because you are the #1 reason this channel continues to grow, and I appreciate you.